Hey, Maps and Mittens. Uh, Welcome to the episode today. Before we get started, we have a bit of a announcement. Not a great announcement, but an announcement nonetheless. You'll notice things are a lot different today, and they will be a lot different moving forward. Um, I started this channel back in 2019 with one of my best friends, Teddy Kong of Majority, and it was like a, a passion project that we had put together. And then shortly after, Spencer joined the following year, like early the following year in 2020. And we've been doing this show, all three of us, for about 5 years now. And Teddy has decided to take a step away from the show. He's going to be taking a break. We don't know if or when he will be coming back to the show. But yeah, we have to announce that, which is not something fun to do, is to rip that Band-Aid off. But we're here.
Yeah, we
Spencer, anything?
we were brought with some interesting ideas here of like, do you continue the show? Do you just completely stop? Like, what do you do going forward? And it's especially hard for me because I wasn't one of the founding members, so I wanted to leave it up to Alex more than me. But we've decided that we'd like to keep going. We like the community. We like what we do. But as Alex kind of pointed out, it will likely look very different. Perhaps not as much right now, but we've kind of decided that the videos we've promised for the remainder of the year will still happen. We're going to deliver that. And then after our initial break, things might and probably will start looking a lot different because we don't want... the show that was with Teddy is like chapter 1, and then we don't want to do things in that same spirit because he's not here with us. So we're going to pivot to, I guess, like a chapter 2 of sorts.
Yeah, things will look a lot different in 2025. So yeah, we'll still be taking our regular break at the end of the year. In January, we'll be back in February, and the show will inevitably look different, which I think will be a lot better than if we tried to just continue on as things have been, but missing Teddy, because Teddy's been a very integral part of the show, for years now, and we don't know if we could do that without him. We both support his decision, and we're still friends with Teddy, of course, and if he wants to come back later on, he can. That's totally up to him. But I do want to take a moment just to thank Teddy. Thanks for being here, man, doing the show with us for so long. We've had some great moments on the podcast throughout the years, and we're gonna miss doing it with him.
Yeah, I don't. As our viewers are probably confused, we don't really know what it's going to look like either. So we're going to try our best. But yeah, I part of it was, the whole point of it was that we could hang out, regularly and do stuff together. And now part of that's missing, and that's not ideal. But, keep going.
Yeah, things will still be great around here. We'll still be making content. We don't want to drop the mappers, because it is, again, it has been a passion project. So, yeah, thanks for everyone who watches and gives their support to the show. And if you want to leave a nice comment for Teddy, go ahead and do so, man. He deserves it.
Yeah. Thank you, Teddy. And thank you, everybody.
Talking about games every day.
Button mappers, we're here today to talk about Batman. Meow.
Pow.
Pow, bang.
I think we can all agree that Batman was better with onomatopoeia. Like it's just
Yeah. Dude, do you know like the fucking crazy shit with the Adam West Batman, like the rights issues
no.
with that series? So okay, so have you ever noticed how there hasn't ever been another live action Batman television series since the Adam West stuff? Like there's been like shows about the Batman like universe, like Gotham and other characters, but there's Batman himself has never been like a live action character on television since the Adam West series.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
There's been cartoons, and
Well,
there's been the
there,
live action shows
don't,
like have been like the Penguin or the Batgirl or
don't they have the like teen one? Whatever that is.
yeah, but I don't think Batman's in that though.
Oh, is he not even in it? Oh, okay.
So here's the craziness of the Adam West series, because that was like one of the first like superhero things to really be on TV and take off. The rights were split between 3 different companies at the time. It was like ABC, another corporation. I forget. I used to know who who all it was. Anyway, basically, there was a rights issue where one of them owned the rights to Batman. Obviously, one of them owned the rights to the television series itself, and one owned the rights to the character of Batman on television. And over the years, things have shifted around, and it was only like 2013 or 14, 15, like somewhere like the 2010s, they were actually able to finally give that show like a DVD release, because they had the rights for that. But they still can't syndicate a show with Batman as a character on television because, and get this, where the rights have switched hands so many times, the company that had the rights to Batman as a character on television is now owned by Disney. So
Whoa.
Disney owns the rights to Batman as a television character, and there's no fucking way they're giving that shit back, because the moment they do, they're gonna have to compete with a Batman television series.
That is so
So
bizarre.
they've been sitting on that shit. So that's why you never see Batman on television. It's because the rights for that original series was so mishandled that that like a WB's been able to get most of it back except for that.
Damn. And that's like why they make all these like shitty shows that are like, they're like, imagine like everybody else in Batman. But
Yeah, Gotham.
and then everyone's like thinking like, well then, and then like in season 2, like Batman comes back and he's like, and they're like, no, he doesn't.
Well, yeah, it's like I think in like Batgirl, they even like have they have him show up for a second, but they like obscure him in like fog and stuff, so you can't even see him. They're like, here he is. There's Batman.
Oh no, that was
Bye.
Bat Dude. That wasn't bad.
That was a Batman. That was Bat Guy. You couldn't see him though.
Yeah.
it was high.
Oh my god, that's so stupid. That's like the best story of corporations getting in the way of art. That's just incredible.
Yeah, it's so funny. Because you know damn well if they were able to get those rights back, there would be like a Batman television series that would be kicking like the Marvel show's ass. You know?
Oh yeah, dude, if you could get a streamable Batman show, like that would be.
I mean that Penguin series is already sort of doing that right now, but
and everyone says it's good.
Yeah,
Everyone's saying it's really good.
but
I've
heard it's good too.
So like, yeah, if they could literally get Batman in there, like holy shit, like ain't nobody gonna watch WandaVision. We're watching Batman.
Miss Marvel, who?
Yeah, yeah,
Batman.
yeah. Oh, that'd be
Yeah,
fucking
exactly.
awesome.
So yeah, that's why that's the rights issue. Well, there should be a lot of Batman talk today, because today we are going to remember Batman Arkham Asylum. Whatever happened to that guy?
Well, the guy that does his voice is dead, right? Didn't he die like recently?
Kevin Conroy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he did die recently. Yeah, sad. He's probably one of the best. He's probably one of the best Batmans, I think. Probably. I mean, he did the voices, but
Yeah, like
even the
what do you
animated series,
consider?
right?
Do people consider him a Batman? I guess you would, right?
I do.
Yeah, because
The
like
animated series is like better than any like it's better than like half of the movies. So probably.
yeah, better than half, which is actually a compliment to the movies because the movies are actually pretty decent for Batman.
Yeah, there's only a handful that are like bad. There's like three, I think, that are probably like bad.
And you know what?
Maybe.
To be honest, I like them. I know which ones you're talking about, and I like them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You're a Batman and Robin and Batman Forever fan. Are those
Oh
the two
yeah,
you like?
yeah. I they Tim Burton's vision was more like dark and I, to be honest, a little slow. Can we agree
Yeah.
there? They're like 1 and 2 are a little
Yeah,
slow.
it's true.
And then what is it? Joel Schumacher?
Yeah, Schumacher. He went
He was like
180.
180. He's like, let's make a comic book movie, and they're like, oh yeah, we've been doing that. He said, no, like I mean, straight from the comic books. Like it's a comic book movie, and if you view it from that lens, I think it's actually pretty good. Like Uma Thurman is really chewing the scenery.
It's pretty stupid.
Yeah,
But it is fun though. It is fun.
I mean, it's fun.
I guess there's not really a third movie because I said three, but I count Batfleck as one of the missteps though.
I didn't even see it.
He didn't really get his own movie, but like any of the either Batman v Superman or like the Justice League movie they did, those I count as like a Batman misstep because he's not very good as Batman.
I would argue that the first Christopher Nolan Batman is completely forgettable, and that might just be.
It is. It's not a bad movie, but
it might just be because the second one is so good.
Yeah, because the second one is good, and the third one is pretty good. But
have you seen it since the release?
Yeah, I think I have recently. I have like a Blu-ray set of like a box set of the films, and I think I watched them back in like 2016 or so.
Okay.
Like again.
I've only seen it all the way through the first time at the theaters. I tried to watch it like later, and I just fell asleep.
Even if that movie isn't the best, that version of Bane is my favorite. So it's good,
beautiful, and so quotable.
yeah, but just his voice is so good.
Yeah.
I remember the fucking South Park episode where they had the Bane mask. You remember that?
No.
Like, oh yeah, they're like it's like all the dads in South Park had like the Bane mask.
Yeah.
Like, did you fuck my wife, Batman?
I just love how quotable he became. Like all the bros would just do Bane all the time.
It's great. It's a great voice.
Yeah.
I think in their attempt to find something that would top Heath Ledger Joker, they just created like the funniest character.
Yeah.
It's like, well, we can't beat him. So.
Yeah, you can't beat him. Just go the exact opposite direction with it. That's so great.
Like Basilius guy.
But yeah, no, you're right.
So
the animated series was really good. I think it even got didn't it get Emmy nominations for how good it was?
Yeah,
which has got to be a first.
And was crazy because that was one of the Spielberg cartoons, right? And of like that line, it was like that, like Tiny Toons, Animaniacs, Freakazoid, and Peaky in the Brain. Like those are like the Spielberg led stuff for WB.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was like it's sad because I think it still gets a little overshadowed because it is lumped in with Tiny Toons and Animaniacs and stuff, and it's like, well, it's like a completely different tone. It's like parts of it is like almost too adult for like a show like that,
I occasionally go back and just rewatch the Dr. Freeze or Mr. Freeze episodes. They are just so
Yeah.
tragic and like sad. Like they're very good.
Yeah. That movie they had for it, The Mask of the Phantasm, was really good. Like it's
Mhm.
just an awesome series. So
Yeah.
yeah, so Kevin Conroy is definitely like one of the most cherished Batman in
Batman.
my eyes. Same thing with Batman. Same thing with Mark Hamill as a Joker.
That's a
It's
good
also he's also
transition.
yeah.
I was playing this and my
So
girlfriend was I was like, "Do you know who that is playing the Joker?" And she goes, "Now," because that's how she talks.
no, she's also got a
Nah.
Jewish mom.
Yeah.
I don't know who that is.
No. And then I said, "That's Mark Hamill," because she's a Star Wars fan. And she goes,
uh,
"No way!" And I said, "Yeah, he was like the Joker, like for the '90s and then for this." And then she
yeah,
said, "I you can't even hear it." And then she heard him talk, and she goes, "You can hear it a little
yeah,
bit."
yeah. Before they brought him back to drink some blue milk, like that was what he was doing. He was just being the Joker and stuff, and he did that for. And I don't know if he might still be doing it. Honestly, I don't know. I don't know
Well, they're
what
coming
because
out with a
because
new
they
one, right?
yeah, that's true. And then they do those like animated, well, like they do like those animated movies, and they do like different stuff. I think he even plays in those like Lego games and stuff. So
Oh
that I don't know.
yeah,
Yeah, so he's probably still being Joker.
he's still joking around.
Still joking around. Um, so Batman Arkham Asylum, we should probably get into it. We're gonna talk about the game today. We do have a list of things we want to get through today. So first, I guess we can just talk about maybe our experiences with the game. Um,
And this game came out. You said
and
2008,
2009.
2009. Okay.
Yeah, and I guess I'll go into it first. I kind of remember like around this time, the idea of a comic book game was still kind of like frowned upon because of like the PS2 generation, like that generation, we still got a lot of trash that
Yes.
was be getting released, of like all the comic book movies were popping up left and right at this point, and there was a lot of licensed garbage coming out for consoles and stuff. And it's like every once in a while you get like a diamond in the rough, like maybe like I think of like the X-Men Legends or like the Marvel Ultimate Alliance games were like pretty fun. But like other than that, you'd still get a lot of garbage that was getting released from like, comic book properties. So the idea of them doing a Batman game for like Xbox 360 and PS3, I remember being like a little puzzling and like people being like, "Well, that's gonna suck." Um, but then I actually didn't buy this one. I had a friend who was super into Batman. I mean, I like Batman too, but he was he loved Batman. So whenever the game came out, I remember he picked it up and he was just like, "Dude, you gotta play this game." He was like, "You have to see this game." And I was like, "I mean, why? It's probably just like a little beat 'em up, right, or something." He was like, "No." He was like, "Dude, you are Batman."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "What?" And I was like, "Well, I don't know. That sounds kind of cool." So I remember going over to his house we like watching him play parts of it, and just kind of being taken back by like the fact that they were doing a Batman game that like looked like it was actually pretty good and like respected the source material and like respected your intelligence as a player.
Yeah.
And I was like, this looks pretty sick. So then I eventually did play it. But I remember watching him play, and then like all the hype surrounding Arkham City was fucking nuts after this game. It was like this game just popped up out of the blue, and then like when they announced Arkham City, it's like everybody was like, "Holy shit!" It's like the whole world was like so excited for Arkham City. So,
Yeah.
yeah, that's really my experience. I did play it, and I'm going to talk about what I thought about it today.
Yeah. And we've talked about this before, but for me, I was slowly phasing out of console gaming at this point. Games were going in a direction I just didn't really like. A lot of first person shooters. Can you imagine? I don't remember if Fallout had come out yet, but like, there's a new Fallout game. It's gonna be a first person shooter. There's a new action game. It's gonna be a first person shooter. Oh, great! There's a new Final Fantasy game. It's gonna suck. So that's kind of where gaming was for me, and I was just like not into anything. And then some buddies were hanging out. I'm a little older than you, so when this game came out, like I was out of high school. It was just me and my guy friends just chilling at night. Um, and one of them brought over this, and I was like, okay, cool. Like I'll get the food and I'll just grab something to eat and we'll just watch you play Batman a little bit. And as soon as like the opening happened, you can literally tell that this is not like a cash in. This is not like a licensed game where they're like, well, a new Batman movie's coming out. We got to make a Batman game. And they're just, it's like going through the motions. Like it dripped with passion, it dripped with care. Like every little bit of it was like, just like the intro where you're walking with the Joker. That kind of thing may seem normal now, but that wasn't done back then. That level of exposition, that level of like interactivity with the intro, it would have just been like a video that you would watch. But this, like, you actually got to play as him. You get to look around. You got to look at the Joker. You got to look at these guards. You look at God, the graphics at the time. They didn't look like this. Like it was, there's a promise of like a new console, of like what you could achieve, and I don't believe anything had really gotten there yet. And then I saw this one, and I was like, oh, this is kind of stuff that if people are really pushing the hardware, they can achieve something great. And this was it. It was just, you would look at everything and be like, wow, this was, and every little detail inside of it. There's just so much detail. Like, wow, this is Arkham Asylum. This, like your friend said, like you are Batman. Um, and I was just hooked. I immediately went out and bought it, and um, it became my life for probably 2 weeks or however long it takes to beat it for like if you're not like only playing it. Um, yeah, wow, this game took me by storm for sure. I'm not even a Batman fan.
Well, but it is something to note that we were in a bit of a Batmania at the time because of the Dark Knight. Like that was 2008, so a year
Mm,
prior, and that was like one of the biggest movies. Like everyone was still talking about the Dark Knight, like Heath Ledger's Joker, and all that movie was still being heralded as like one of the best movies to come out
mm-hmm.
in recent memory. And just I remember because like it was 2009, so I would have been starting high school at this point, and nobody was shutting up about the Dark Knight. Like everyone was talking about the hospital scene or the bank heist or the pencil trick. Like people were still talking about like all the scenes in that fucking movie.
Yeah.
And so like this was the perfect time to release like a serious Batman game because people were already like in that kind of spirit, I guess.
What's interesting is that it wasn't about the movie though. Isn't that weird? Like,
For the time, yeah. Now, no, because I feel like now it's like normal to be nerd culture wasn't a thing yet in 2009. Like now nerd culture is the thing, right? And like you can go to Walmart and there's probably a whole aisle for nerd shit.
mm-hmm.
But 2009, no, nerd culture was not a thing. So to have, yeah, so you're right. To have a game that isn't based on the movie is a little weird. It's just like its own thing.
And thank God it isn't based on the movie.
Yeah, and also it doesn't like it does something that I like with comic book stuff. It's just when they skip the origin, because a lot of like movies or games will like, especially back then, will be like, well, you got to see how he became Batman. It's like we all know, and nobody cares. Just like
Yeah.
start like just tell a good story, you know.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the fact that it does start with just him driving the Joker to Arkham Asylum and stuff, it's like, okay, well, this is interesting. Like right off the bat, it's like, right, this is. So.
Yes. Do you want to
So
talk
I guess
about the release here?
yeah, we can talk about the release and the development. So this is by Rocksteady. Is this their first like big game of note? I'm gonna look on their. No, they did Urban Chaos Riot Response before this, which I I've never played, but I've at least heard of it. That
Doesn't Terry like that series?
Urban Chaos.
Or is
I don't
that a
know. It
different
looks
one?
like something he. It looks like something he would like.
Okay.
It is British. They are a British game studio, so maybe Terry's been to Rocksteady Studios. Who knows?
I took the tour.
I took the tour of Rocksteady. We had beans on toast for lunch. So Rocksteady wasn't a big name in the gaming industry at this point, which I think is also why this game was a bit of a surprise at the time. And this game, I mean, obviously this game quickly rocketed them up. Like people put Rocksteady like on the same pedestal as like oddly enough Rockstar, like those types of games, like that stuff. Which I think in recent times maybe they shouldn't, but back then, yeah, I was like, oh my god, Rocksteady, what are they gonna do next?
Spoiler alert: Batman.
Turns out Batman. Spoiler alert: only Batman, and then they're gonna make a shitty just Suicide Squad game recently, but only Batman.
Yeah.
So yeah, obviously they looks like they did take a lot of cues from the animated series and stuff for this game, which I think was a smart choice. Not the art style though. The art style is really unique for this game.
Yeah, and that's kind of the fun of it is like a fresh. It's always fun to see like a fresh interpretation of characters that you know. And I thoroughly enjoyed looking at and I mean, man, the passion again. I can't emphasize enough how much passion clearly went into this. Obviously, they have the 3D models of everybody, but they also have all these drawings of all the characters too.
The drawings are awesome. Yeah,
beautiful.
The drawings are cool.
Yeah.
And it's obviously the development. I don't know much about the development.
Yeah, on the wiki, there's not a lot going on here.
Yeah, it's just talking about stuff they were inspired by. Like they're inspired by the Killing Joke, which is one of the best Batman stories of all time. Other stuff like that. So it's whatever. The release, though, I was reading earlier before we even started that this game sold like 2 million or something in their first 3 weeks, which is pretty insane for a comic book game.
From like a no-name developer.
Yeah, from a no-name developer on a comic book game released by Eidos Interactive. That just sounds like crap,
This is like pure word of mouth.
Yeah. Yeah. It sort of reminds me of GoldenEye back in the day,
Yeah.
How it just kind of happened and then everyone was like, dude, you gotta play this. It's sort of the same thing. It's like you didn't expect it to be good, but like it's fucking good. Trying to see what else they had to say on the release of the game. Do you remember the I forget, I think it was on like the PlayStation 3 version, they had like specific Joker levels. I remember that being like a controversial thing.
Because I don't remember, and I played the PS3 version.
So console exclusivity wasn't that sort of thing at that point for like games. So I remember like people being like, "Well, what if I have an Xbox and I want to play as a Joker?"
Yeah, I remember those things.
Yeah, I want to be a Joker. It's like that was just starting to pop off.
Too bad, Billy.
So yeah, I'm just gonna look at the scores. What people gave it. Looks like Metacritic across the board. The 360 version has a 92 out of 100, and then the PS3 and PC has a 91. I wonder why the 360 has one extra. It doesn't have Joker, so how can it?
Yeah.
And then the publications, we have OneUp.com gave it an A-. Computer and Video Games gave it a 9.2 out of 10. Edge, which is what I did earlier, gave it an 8 out of 10. Eurogamer gave it a 9 out of 10. Game Informer gave it a 9.5 out of 10. That's pretty damn high. GameSpot gave it a 9. Giant Bomb gave it 5 stars.
It's probably IGN where it should be.
IGN gave it a 9.3. XPlay gave it a 4 stars. Remember XPlay? The Daily Telegraph gave it a 9, and Wired gave it a 9. So that's pretty damn like across the board. The lowest score on here is Edge with an 8.
When
Like
you look at
that's
this game, this is a perfect game.
yeah.
Like, I'm actually confused that they weren't all perfect scores. Like, because I mean, you got to temper what you would consider a perfect game. Because if you don't temper that, you have a full score that no game will ever get. So like, what's the point? So I think you really need to hone in and figure out what is a perfect game. It's a game that you could not imagine being better at the time of release. Like there are no fault flaws in the game. And I think like that it's like bulletproof. This is a perfect game. It's very odd that they wouldn't just give it a perfect score. It's like, what did you find that was like eh, this isn't that
Well,
good.
Batman's ears were a little too long.
Yeah. Yeah, like what more could you expect? This game delivers on like every possible way.
But with that said, I don't want to spoil the end of the video here. But with that said, I'm just curious because because you said that. Do you think Arkham City is a better game than this?
No.
No. Okay. Well,
But just because something else is better doesn't mean this wasn't perfect.
that's true.
That's kind of my point is that like it's like Arkham City was better. Okay, Arkham City didn't exist. Yeah.
Yeah, we didn't know Arkham City was happening.
Yeah. Arkham City exists because of this game. So like I understand people like that more. I think because it gives more of like that Batman feel of like going through a town. But to me, this game is like the more concise game.
Well, yeah, and you got to think at the time, like say, at the time, the two biggest genres were what shooters and sandbox games.
Yes.
So if your game wasn't Call of Duty or Assassin's Creed, fuck it, and I guess that's sort of where they went with Arkham City, right? Is more like Assassin's Creed ish, not to ever compare those two, because by God, but
Yeah.
just like in the same vein,
Mm-hmm.
of like having that open world. So I'm just reading here that like several reviewers compared Arkham Asylum to other games like BioShock, which I do think is true. Because
It
you do
is.
get to
Yeah.
like you in BioShock, you are like exploring like a dilapidated city full of freaks, and like you do get audio logs, which is a big part of this game too.
Mm-hmm.
Which I like that delivery method, by the way, of like storytelling.
I usually don't,
Really,
but again here, these are like well defined characters, and even if they're not like in the game necessarily, you still kind of know them through just pop culture. So then it becomes a lot more interesting to hear them. Like most audio games with audio logs, I don't listen. I like, oh, this is playing. Okay, whatever. Like, help me find my baby. I don't give a shit. But like, Killer Croc being interviewed, I'm like, oh, okay, let me hear this because like, what does he have to say? And like, he's just a guy that like eats people, but like, what does he have to say to an interviewer? Oh, like
well,
that's
yeah,
interesting.
it can be done poorly.
Mm-hmm.
But like their comparison to BioShock's a good one because BioShock does it very well.
Yeah.
But no, though it can be done poorly. I think of as much as I love the game, I think of Diablo 3. You pick up the audio logs and it's like King Ralph was king of the realm for 40 years, but he was betrayed by. I'm like, shut up.
Yeah.
Like I don't care. Like it didn't help me at all.
Right.
But,
It's the worst. Like I'm not wasting my time with that shit. It's like yeah, we need somebody to say something and put on like a British accent. Like okay, cool. In the year 2053, I've discovered a cure for. I'm like, oh my god, put a gun in my freaking mouth. This is terrible.
yeah. Yeah, no, but I think it works in the context of this game and a game like BioShock because they do kind of share a similar theme of being in like a off-putting place, like exploring this place, and you kind of you're getting more behind like the characters and the like what happened prior.
Well, they're both horror games, which
Yeah,
isn't really
yeah,
talked about. That this game is scary as shit
that
sometimes.
is true. Yeah, yeah. I never really thought about this game as a horror game. I guess you're kind of right there, in, in ways.
Yeah, I mean, Killer
Um,
Croc, dude. That fight is a horror game fight.
oh yeah, I mean, and the stuff with Scarecrow is pretty good too.
Yeah.
Um, they also compared it to Legend of Zelda and Metroid, which we've talked about that before. I see the Metroid comparison more than I do the Zelda comparison. But at the same time, I think I get it. I think honestly, it probably is a little more Zelda because of like the fact that the game is very, it's like 3D Zelda. The game is very set on progression through like items you get, like oh, you're not going to be able to go to this place or do this unless you get the grapple hook, or or unless you do the zip line, or whatever it is. Um Metroid's usually a little more open, and Metroid's usually more open to like sequence breaking and stuff, and I don't really think you could do a whole lot of that in this game from what I know. I could be
Mhm.
wrong.
Well, I always viewed Metroid and Zelda as very similar in that way.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, Zelda's historically been a top-down view,
Mhm.
but I think to me, Zelda's always. I guess maybe the major difference between the two is Zelda's always given the impression of more of an open world, whereas Metroid is more than like you're kind of going. I don't know. It just I always felt like Zelda was more open.
You're you're more like to me, you're more like railroaded in Zelda games. Like there's like a correct path of progression in a Zelda game.
Yeah, I think you're right. But they always like try to give you the impression it's not. Like they're
Hmm.
Zelda's like a mirage, and Metroid is like a brutal steak that you just kind of got to eat through at your own pace.
And it's
Um,
delicious.
but I always kind of pictured them similarly, and I picture that I can see both influences here. Um, I would almost go more of a Metroid view of this, um, also because of the tone, but because I don't know if like when I also think of Zelda, I think of like more puzzles, and I don't know if I was ever really puzzled in this game.
Nah,
But
there's not really
but
puzzle.
whereas Metroid isn't really about the puzzles, you just progress with new items, and I think that more encapsulates this experience.
That is true. There are moments in this game where you get a new gadget and you're like, oh, I could totally go to this place that I saw.
Yeah,
Oh, I could totally get to this like Riddler trophy.
yeah.
Yeah. They also compared it to Resident Evil and Tomb Raider. That would have been a stupid statement until I replayed it for this episode, and I have to say, man, I was getting like some Resident Evil 4 vibes from this game at points, and I can't really explain why. um,
Hmm.
Maybe it is the horror aspect. Maybe it is like the fact that it is like the over the shoulder camera style and stuff. But or I don't know. There was just certain aspects of this game that I was like, man, like I like Resident Evil 4, and I don't know, it's gonna give me the same vibe. The Tomb Raider one, I don't really get. Maybe they're talking about like some of the platform or something.
Huh.
Which at that point, it's 2009. Like, wouldn't you compare it to Uncharted, not Tomb Raider? Because like that's the big one, it's out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. I don't know
I
on
don't
that
know.
one. That's a weird one. Weird
Yeah,
time in
that
gaming
that
for sure.
yeah. Of course, I mean there was a time in gaming where everything was compared to Tomb Raider, so I get it, I guess. But 2009, no, maybe
Hmm.
1999.
You know what's weird
um,
is like nobody talks about, and I think this is part of the legacy of this game is that nobody talks about the combat, like what the combat reminds them of, because I think it's so like original in this game,
oh, it is, and games would go on to like copy it, like
especially WB. They would use this
verbatim.
formula for like all of their games going forward.
Dude, you've probably never seen them or played them, but they had movie games based on the shitty Amazing Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield. They rip this combat like 1-to-1.
Wow.
straight out of this game. It's basically just this combat.
Yeah.
And they're not good. But like,
Oh.
okay, you know what? They're like serviceable for like licensed games, but like it was clear they were like, well, we got to do Batman. Like we have to do that style. You know,
Batman.
we have to do Batman.
Well, I know WB copied it because they did it for the surprisingly good Mad Max game. Uh,
Yeah,
it's actually
that's
good, but like also completely pointless to play. So yeah, Mad Max. The Witcher is similar.
I haven't played The Witcher, but I'll take your word for that one.
It's not quite the same, but it is in the same realm. And then for all of their Batman games, it's been this. I think for like almost every WB game that's like an action game, that's what it is. Is this combat?
Yeah, it's like especially for the DC stuff. It's like the only things they do with DC now are like this and um the Injustice stuff. You know, of course that's a fighting game, so that's a little different. Um, but yeah, it's like basically. I mean, like what was the other one? I know that they just did that shitty what the fuck is it? Suicide Squad game. But didn't they have another one that was like it's Batman but without Batman? Like what the
Gotham
hell was that
Knights.
called? Gotham Knights. That was this, right? That was just this
Yeah.
game.
Yeah, I played it. Well, it's this but multiplayer.
Uh,
I played it with my buddy JD. It was good. I don't know why. I think I had to go on like a trip like right as we started playing, and then we just put it down. It wasn't terrible. It wasn't great, but it wasn't
yeah.
terrible.
Well, that one also wasn't Rocksteady. So,
Oh, it wasn't. Okay.
yeah. I was surprised because when I was just looking at their. Well, let me go back up to their Wikipedia. When I was just looking at their Wikipedia, the list of games is actually pretty small. They did Urban Chaos, and then they did Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, Arkham Knight, Arkham VR, which was the PS4 one, and then Suicide Squad. And they were working on Suicide Squad for a long time because I remember early trailers for that. So yeah, they didn't do Arkham. What the hell it's called? Is it Arkham Knight? It's not. It's not Arkham Knight.
Gotham Knights or something. Like
Gotham Knights. I keep saying Arkham Knight. That's the game. Gotham Knights. It wasn't that. They didn't do the new one. That they knew the new VR game either. I didn't know that.
I know that those VR games are probably some of the better VR games. I have no interest in playing any VR games.
I will actually be playing the new one this month because this is gonna sound weird. My mom's getting a Quest 3 for Christmas. That's what she wanted. She has a Quest 2, but she wanted a Quest 3. And it comes packaged in with the new Arkham VR game.
Okay.
So she's going to be getting it on Christmas. She doesn't care about Batman. She just wanted a Quest 3, but that's like the only pack-in they have.
Gotcha.
And I'll be playing it. I mean, I won't, I'll just be playing over there, but I'll be trying it out for sure to see how it is.
That's cool.
So, yeah. Sales did really good. Awards. It won some awards and stuff. Who cares? Spike Game Awards. Does anybody care at this?
Spike.
They won. It won a Studio of the Year.
Yeah.
And then it won Game of the Year. It won Character Design. It won 3D controls, costume design. It won Game Design. It won extra like sound editing or something. Drama, the use of sound. I don't give action sequence. It won a bunch of awards. It's if you go to Wikipedia, the awards it was either nominated for or won is crazy.
I'm telling you, games just kind of sucked at this time.
Yeah, I'm curious.
That's not a shot at this game, but
what
like
games came out in 2009? What games? I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna see if there's like anything even remotely closer. Okay, I don't want to see that.
All right. Wow. The AI choices are horrifying. Yeah, let's see what
I have a full list here on Wikipedia in like alphabetical order, and I am looking through right now to see if I can see anything.
I've got the best-selling games. I can give you top 10.
Oh, okay, yeah, give me that.
All right, Coming in 10th is Resident Evil 5. That is the most 2009 game I think I've ever.
That's a game.
Oh, this is a brutal list. This is a brutal.
Okay.
All right, number 9, Wii Play.
Oh, people only bought that for the extra controller.
And you're gonna see a pattern here. Number 8, Assassin's Creed 2.
Okay, I don't like that series, but I'll give it to that one.
That's
I
like
know
the
that
best
one's
one, right?
yeah, see, that one's like one of them. I know like that one, and like people talk about 3 and 4 a lot, but I know people like 2 a lot.
Okay.
So, sure.
Number 7, Mario Kart Wii.
Okay, I mean, it's Mario Kart, so sure.
Number 6, Wii Fit.
Yeah.
Number
Dude,
5.
it was 2009, all right.
It's about to get more 2009. Number 5, Wii Fit Plus.
Okay.
Number 4, New Super Mario Bros. Wii.
Oh. Yep.
Number 3, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Okay, that one I will also give it. That one's actually like of all of the Call of Duty games, that's probably the best one, right?
Number 2, Wii Sports Resort.
Ah! No.
The number 1 selling game of 2009 with 20 million sales. Wii Sports.
You can't count that. It's a pack-in.
This one's counting.
That just means they sold a bunch of Wiis, which they did. It was 2009. We all know. We were all there. Obama had one.
Yeah.
He was playing the fucking Wii in the White House with his kids.
I'm telling you, what a shitty fucking year for gaming.
But like which is funny because I believe like 2008 is considered like one of the best years.
Is it?
So I guess they like blew their load in 2008.
New intellectual properties include Batman Arkham Asylum, Bayonetta,
That's it. I like that game.
Borderlands,
Okay, hey, that's a big IP.
Demon's Souls,
That FromSoft. Okay, that's good. That's good.
Dragon Age Origins,
Okay, I like BioWare wasn't shit yet.
Infamous,
Oh, okay.
Just Dance.
I mean,
This is a big one. Minecraft.
wow. Oh yeah. I guess it was still like indie at that point, right?
Mm-hmm. Why does it what? The rest of these are bullshit except for the last one. They're literally just like new intellectual properties, including Madden NFL 10. Shouldn't the 10 tell you that that's not an intellectual property?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure John Madden's not a new intellectual property.
But the last one is a prototype.
Hey, I like that game too. Okay, so there are some solid ones, and I mean, come on. I mean, the Souls series started that year then, and that's huge,
Right.
You know, Borderlands again, that's huge. I mean, they just had a shitty movie, and their 4th game's like in the works right now.
Yeah. But at the time, it was a great game.
Yeah. At the time, yeah. It was like Borderlands was huge, and I remember Dark Souls was more the one that blew up, but I remember Demon Souls like getting press, you know.
So I think what this tells us is that even though like there were games out there, you just had to find them.
Yeah.
And most people were not finding them. They were finding Wii Sports.
Most people were playing Banjo Nuts and Bolts 2008. That's what was.
That's what was cool. I remember that. Everyone was talking about that.
Yeah. You remember that? New games were coming out in 2009. They were like, "Nah, we got Nuts and Bolts."
Yeah. Why do we need Batman? We got Nuts and Bolts.
All right. So I guess we should get in. Yeah. I can make Batman and Banjo Nuts and Bolts. I don't need this Batman game. I can make my own Batman.
Yeah.
So we should talk about the story of the game, right? Which we've already touched upon a little bit. And it's not really that in depth of a story, but it also doesn't need to be that in depth of a story, right? So basically, the game opens. Batman's captured the Joker. You can imagine the Joker was doing some silly bullshit, like the Joker usually is. And Batman's taking him to Arkham Asylum, where he's gonna finally lock him up for good. He's like, "This time you're not getting away, Joker." Um, so it turns out that was Joker's plan all along. He had people working on the inside at Arkham Asylum. They take over the asylum, and Joker is using what's it called? The gene he's using. Do you
Titan.
remember? Titan. That's right. He's using some sort of Titan gene, along with some scientists and stuff, to make a Titan army, which are these huge mutant things. Um, and that's the Joker's plan. So you're locked in Arkham Asylum with Joker
Yeah.
and his goons and all the other Batman bad guys that are there. So that's sort of all the story it needs to be.
Yeah, that's a really good summation.
Yeah. And there's nuances, like there's characters that are involved in the plot and other Batman villains there, of course. Um, but that's basically the basis of the plot. Was there anything that really stood out to you about the story of this game?
I think what I really liked about this one, and that was very unexpected, was that they gave equal time to Batman being like a badass fighter to also him being a really good detective. And all the moments of just detective work and him like learning about the ins and outs and figuring out who to look for and who matters here and why. Um that stuff took me by surprise, and I think took most people by surprise because we were just used to like, oh, it's a comic book game, punch, kick. How do you throw? How do you do this? And yada yada. It's like, no, there's moments, and again, WB took this and applied it to their other games where it's like, there's time for fighting and there's time for investigating, and I think a lot of those moments really add to the story of Batman, where it's like, you didn't just punch and kick your way out of this. You solved puzzles. You're following these characters, like literally tracking them, and you're seeing how they walked, where they went, and a lot of it's based off of who they are. Like you'd follow some people based off of the alcohol they drank, or you would solve people based on what they touched, and
Perfume or something.
yeah, leaving blood stains. Like there's just so much that you learn about Batman that I learned about Batman. I didn't know how, like, I'm sure in the comic books he's also a lot more of a detective than what I was used to, and I didn't know all that. I mean, as not a fan or anybody that reads the stuff, I just assumed it was just like a fighter guy, but no, there's a lot more to this character than a tough guy.
Yeah, and that's something that I think a lot of people forget, or a lot of like movie studios stuff forget. I mean, the DC literally stands for Detective Comic.
Mhm.
So, like, and he's always been said to be the world's greatest detective. I just think that maybe that's something that's lost with some modern interpretations of the character.
Yeah,
But this one does a good job, and also like those aspects you're talking about where you do track the alcohol, or like have to use the scanners and stuff. That reminds me, and I don't think you've played much of it, but that reminds me a lot of Metroid Prime and like
yeah,
that stuff. And that was something I really appreciated. But yeah, it is nice the fact that you do get to slow down and investigate. You get the audio logs, where you get to learn more story about the characters, and
yeah.
I like the fact that like whenever there's a new character introduced in the story, they'll just give you some artwork and they'll be like, look, this is that character's deal. So like, so even if you don't know Batman that well, you can still sort of understand what's going on with the characters.
Hmm.
You can be like, okay, well, Poison Ivy, she fucks plants, right? And that's her thing. So it's like, oh, cool. So
That's in the lore. Yeah.
yeah. Harley Quinn, she's obsessed with the Joker. Okay, cool. So you just kind of like get to learn a little more about the characters if if you're not already familiar with them.
Oh,
Um,
dude, how hot is Harley Quinn? And for that
she
matter,
got a good,
Poison Ivy.
she got a good. Okay, I don't controversial thing. I don't really like Poison Ivy's design in this game. She looks a little weird. She looks a little scaly or something.
Fine by
Um,
me.
I like my women scaly.
Yeah, I'll take I'll give her a dose of chlorophyll, if you know what I mean.
But I like the Harley design. I think I only like the Harley design in this game a lot because after that Margot Robbie movie, we've just sort of been stuck with that design for years now, of
Yeah.
like the pink and blue hair design,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like I appreciated like a different design. You know? Like I get it. It's a popular design and stuff, but like I don't know. It
I
gets old.
mean, yeah, I guess it's popular because that's the only thing they show. But
Yeah.
like, this design's way better, I think.
Oh yeah.
I prefer
Oh
this
yeah.
so much to that. I like that's clearly the brand that they're building is that Harley design with like a t-shirt and like a
Yeah, like booty shorts and like her pigtails are like pink and blue.
yeah. I mean, she's an attractive lady, obviously, but
Yeah.
I prefer something like this.
Yeah, I like this design, or I like the the classic looking Harley from the animated show,
Yeah,
with like the full suit. Um,
because she's supposed to be like the Joker. She's supposed to be complement to the Joker, and the
yeah,
Joker is obviously like the card. The Joker like she is a jester, so she plays off of that and it, like looks like a jester. Whereas the new ones, they're
yeah,
just like, what if I was like in my street clothes? Like, no.
yeah. What if she was just a hot girl
Yeah,
that was like slightly a clown?
right.
It's like, well, yeah, and to some extent, like at this point, it's nice to note that like Harley wasn't as popular a character yet.
Mm-hmm.
Because she was introduced in the animated series, and this is 2009, so we're not that far removed, like 10 years removed.
Was she introduced in the animated? That's the origin of her.
Yeah, she's not from the comics. She's like one of the few things. Like she's like that's one of the rare times that that a character was introduced in some sort of other media and then integrated their way into the comics or like into
Wow,
the main media.
that's fascinating. I
Which is,
didn't know that.
yeah, and that's I mean it speaks to how popular she is as a character.
Yeah,
And she's only gotten more popular. I mean, she has like her own television show now. She has her own comic books. Like and to some extent, I don't think she is, but to some extent, she's almost popular, like more popular than the Joker himself now.
well, yeah, I think in a way that she can be used,
Yeah,
like because the Joker, you can't really use the guy because there's not really like that's kind of the cool thing about the Joker, and but also to his detriment is that there's literally no story about him, and that's kind of the point. Is
yeah,
like what's his backstory? He's just gonna lie. He doesn't tell you anything. There is no backstory, and I'm sure some of the comic
yeah.
books have
That's
done.
why he's terrifying. Yeah,
But
that's why he's a scary guy.
yeah, like to me, that's kind. I'm sure there's comic books that are like this is his backstory. I don't know, maybe, but the Joker I understand is ununderstandable. He's like a mystery, an enigma. And so you can't really like as exciting and interesting as that is, you can't really make like a show about that. But
They even
yeah.
tried with the Joker movie. They gave that version like a story, but then apparently in that new one they walked it back because
Oh.
apparently that's not the Joker. Isn't that funny?
I think they could make like a movie about the Joker, but make it like The Usual Suspects. Do you ever see that movie?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay.
I know what it is. 'Cause
Okay, so you know the
I
point of
know
it.
I've heard of it. Yeah,
The point of it is that it's all a lie. And so like he tells the story and then like at the end of it you realize that everything was made up. And like
yeah,
that's kind of like the Joker. Like that would be a great Joker movie. But aside from that, you can't make like an engaging movie. Whereas Harley Quinn,
yeah. What's that called? It's like the narrator you don't trust. Like it's a
unreliable.
oh yeah, unreliable narrator. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
That's like that sort of story.
Yeah. Whereas Harley Quinn, she is crazy, which is people love to make movies about and stories about that. But she does have like a backstory. Like she was helping somebody that was crazy, the Joker, and just kind of got mixed up in that world, and now is like a dependent person. And there's really interesting stuff there. Whereas the Joker, you can't. You can't really. I'm bullshit.
Again, they did the best they could with that first Joker movie, and I actually really like that movie. But again, apparently the new one, which got shit on, like walked it all back and was like, well, actually, that's not actually the Joker. That's just the guy that inspired the Joker.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, sure.
Yeah, yeah. You're talking about like the live action one with our
Yeah,
boy.
the
It
one.
it
Yeah,
yeah, it is good, but I looked at that more as just like an idea. Like it wasn't.
yeah. Well, no. And that's how I saw it too. And that's how they should have left it. But apparently, and I haven't watched it, but apparently in the second one, whatever the fuck that's called, a Fall I Do or whatever,
Yeah.
with Lady Gaga, apparently it's a bad movie. But also at the end, apparently you get the sense like I don't know how they frame it because I haven't watched it, but I've heard that like you get the sense that that version of Joker, the Arthur guy, it is he. I think he might have died in the movie or something, but he inspires like Heath Ledger Joker.
Oh, do you have like a
Yeah, and
CGI Heath Ledger,
I don't
like an
know for
AI?
sure. I've just heard like you hear the Heath Ledger like laugh or this stuff. So
Mm,
I was like, oh, so that's like the guy, like so that Joker like saw that guy and was like, I could take that persona or
okay.
something. I don't know. Again, I haven't watched it, so please, if I'm wrong, correct me, people in the comments or something. But that's what I've heard about the movie. I didn't go see it because I heard it was a shit show, and I don't want to waste my money watching that. I'll watch it when it comes to like HBO Max or whatever.
I find that movie to be very insulting. Um, because like, even the songs that are in it, they're not even like original songs, right?
Yeah, yeah. When I heard, okay, when I first heard it was a musical, because like 'cause I really loved that first movie. So when I first heard it was gonna be a musical, I was like, okay, like I could sort of see how that's gonna work. And then they were like Lady Gaga's playing Harley, and I was like, okay, that could work. And then it was like no original music, and it's not even considered a comic book movie. I'm like, okay, well, this is getting stupid. like, and then it
Yeah,
came out, and like everyone was like, what the fuck was that?
yeah, and I like musicals. Like
Yeah.
I like one of my favorite movies is The Wizard of Oz. I love. I actually also think South Park, the musical, is
That's a
phenomenal.
great movie.
It's a great
Dude,
movie.
I still sing some of those songs to this day.
What would Brian Boitano do? Like that
Yeah,
is a.
yeah. Oh my god, that is a fantastic song.
But like it's insulting to my intelligence that you would make a movie, call it a musical, and then just do reimaginings of existing songs.
About a character as interesting as the Joker, right?
Yeah.
Because he's crazy. So like it doesn't matter if the songs make sense or the setups make sense, in terms of like where they are stuff. Like he's obviously in prison for the whole movie, right? So, and like a court trial. Like you can make that interesting. If you write good music for it and have
Mhm.
interesting setups, but apparently that's not what they did.
Yeah, what a bummer. What a bummer.
Um, Other highlights from the story in this game. The Riddler is just kind of it calls
He's
you and
around.
says things. I like that. I love that. I sent you
Perfect.
that clip. Yeah, I sent you that clip recently where I forgot what Jim Carrey movie it was, but he answered the phone. He's like, "Stop breaking the law, asshole!" It's like when the Riddler calls.
Yeah.
He's so funny in this game because he's just kind of annoying Batman. Like I like the fact that like that's his thing in this game.
Yeah, yeah, he's
He's just,
got no relevance to anything. He's just
he's just gotta beat an asshole.
yeah.
The Batman. It's
Could
like,
you imagine like that? Like you're Batman, and you're just kind of going about your day, and like you're solving like a petty crime or something,
yeah.
and you're just picking up Riddler trophies as you go, and just Riddler like you're
Oh,
chasing.
so good. A toddler could find that one, Batman.
You're just you've done it for so long that your character doesn't even respond to it.
A fucking idiot could find that
You're
one.
just like, just keep moving.
What's up, Riddler? How's your day been?
Yeah. You had any more today? Good.
All right. Well, I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Yeah.
Other standout characters in this game.
I think the Killer Croc thing is surprisingly awesome.
And cool that they use that character in it.
Yeah. I didn't know anything about the character. I knew he existed. That's about it. And then when I played it, I was like, oh, like he's terrifying. The game does him so well. The fight with him is not even like, it's like a survival. It's not even like a fight. It's just like trying to live. Yeah, the Killer Croc stuff is surprisingly great. I don't know. Yeah, like you said, there's a story here, but it's not anything incredibly deep, which again, it doesn't need to be. It's Batman.
I think Scarecrow stands out pretty well in this game just because he has some of the most interesting segments.
Yeah.
In the game where you go into the hallucinations and you fight like skeletons and stuff. And there's like, there's he like fucks with you. He thinks like people are dying, or or like, you're after the guy or whatever. Like he fucks with your perception, and I think that's fun. So he's a fun inclusion. The other two villains are kind of take it or leave it for me. Bane doesn't really do much in this game. He just kind of shows Bane's more of a plot device in this game.
Right. Yeah. Well, he's just showing you what they're doing. Like that's
the
end goal is everybody's Bane.
Yeah, they're like using his like venom stuff as and they're gonna mutate it with the Titan gene, whatever.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, I get why he's here, but like he doesn't really do anything. Which sucks because Bane is like a cool character in terms of Batman, so like whatever. And then Victor Zsasz is the other one that's kind of like a weird choice, but like,
well, they need somebody that you don't care about that Batman can just beat up in like tutorial style, right?
Yeah, it's true, and like Zsasz is cool. Like I do like Zsasz, but like yeah, it's just like one of the characters that's like, guys, we have all the greats, we have Joker. We have Riddler. We have Zsasz.
Yeah.
Victor Zsasz. He kills people.
Known for his Zsasz hands. Yeah.
Zsasz hands.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's like the throwaway one.
Yeah. And I respect that. Like
yeah. Yeah. Apparently they wanted to include Mad Hatter, and which would have been funny. If Mad Hatter was in this game.
Mad Hatter. Was that from the show?
He's in the books as well. He's basically just another Joker type character. I don't know why they would include him. They like to do that. I mean, obviously you've played Arkham City and Arkham Knight. They like to throw in the weirdos sometimes. Which I mean I appreciate.
Mad Hatter, also known as Jervis Tetch. Tetch.
Tetch.
Tetch. At Tetch. I think it'd be Tetch. Is a recurring villain in the Batman franchise, specifically in DC Comics. Well, okay, yeah. He is a brilliant neuroscientist and inventor who uses his knowledge to create mind control devices, often incorporating them into hats. The Mad Hatter.
Put on this hat, Batman!
He's obsessed with Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, basing his crimes on the novel. That's cool.
Hey, Batman, check out this cool hat. Don't you want to put it on?
Notable appearances in the animated series. And then the Arkham video games. Apparently he's in them in some form or fashion.
Which one is that? I forget. I think he might be in Arkham. I don't know if he's Arkham City or... I think it might be Arkham City.
I mean, it says 2009, but that might just be referring to the series as a whole. Weird. Oh, here's some trivia. He has been a member of various villainous teams, including the Secret Six and the Secret Society of Supervillains. Despite his intellectual prowess, the Mad Hatter's plans are often foiled by his own arrogance and underestimation. Okay, that's not even trivia. Interesting. Okay. I vaguely recall him, but I don't know anything about him.
Scroll all the way down and see his version in the classic the 69 Batman show. He looks awesome. You look at his Wikipedia page.
Oh, no way.
Look at him. That's cool.
I didn't
I'm trying to
realize he
see
goes
if
back so far.
it
That's
says here
wild.
what game. It doesn't say he's in a game. Oh no, wait, no, here we go. Okay, yes, it was Arkham City. Apparently he shows up in Arkham City Origins and Night in some capacity, so that's funny.
The Clock King is his brother.
I love the Clock King. I love stupid, obscure Batman villains. The Clock King's a good one.
The Clock King.
Dude, if you go down the rabbit hole of obscure Batman villains, it's awesome. There's some stupid villains in Batman history.
Can't all be winners, yeah.
Yeah. They actually they had a cartoon a while back. That was the Batman, the Brave and the Bold, and it actually only used obscure characters for the most part. It was awesome. It was- but yeah, there's really not any other. They there's references to some of the other characters like Clayface and Penguin, and Mr. Freeze, whoever else, but they don't really actually make appearances in this game. You know, they saved them for later on. So
You know, Penguin's actually
but
my favorite Batman villain.
yeah, is he?
I think
I don't
so.
know who my favorite is. I don't know. I
And
mean, obviously the Joker's up there, but I
yeah,
don't
well,
know.
yeah. But then if you want to go like an obscure one, I would go the Dummy. I think that's what it's called. Do you remember him
Mm.
from the
What is it?
TV show?
Yeah. It has the puppet guy, right?
Yeah, yeah. That's such an interesting one because it's like a guy that's like very timid, but he the puppet does all the killing.
I don't know. I like Mr. Freeze. Always had a cool story
Oh
with his
yeah,
wife.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
but I also like Man Bat.
No, it's Batman, Man Bat.
It just yeah, I like Man Bat. That's a good villain right there. just, just a giant bat
It's a little
guy.
lazy.
No, it's good. It's good shit. That's
Man
comic books at
Bat.
the best.
Also known as Dr. Kirk Langstrom, is a complex and multifaceted character in the Batman universe. He's a scientist who developed a serum that transforms him into a humanoid bat-like creature driven by a desire to regain his lost sense of hearing. Oh. So he's using
Yeah.
echolocation, I guess.
They to me that was just the writers being like, guys, what if Batman fought a bat? Man. You genius.
So if Batman is
Um,
is a man that dresses up like a bat, I always pictured Man Bat as a bat that dressed up like a man.
a bad thing like goes to work.
Yeah, he's got like a hat.
Yeah, he has like a 401k.
Yeah.
Like he complains about the prices of groceries too.
Yeah.
That's funny. I want the Man Bat show. There are some other characters too that aren't villains that show up. Obviously the biggest one is probably Commissioner Gordon. If you know Batman, you know Commissioner Gordon.
Mhm.
You know, one of the biggest allies. Also Oracle, which I thought was interesting that Oracle's here. Because that's Batgirl. And that's Batgirl post Batgirl. So like she's in a wheelchair and she's giving Batman like she's giving him instructions, right? Like what a weird you're starting a new game series and you're just like, well, Batgirl's already Oracle at this point. Respectable. Obviously, I also think they walked that back. I don't know what that game, the Gotham Knights, she's in that, right? Batgirl. So I don't know how that works. Or if it's like an earlier point in the timeline or something. Is it? Or is it after? Because this is fucking Batgirl. She's Oracle at this point. So
Yeah, it looks like she was paralyzed by the Joker in The Killing Joke.
yeah. So again, obviously later on they in some capacity they had to have walked it back and been like, no, we got to use Batgirl.
Well, obviously, like in a video game, you need like a plot device character, like a Navi.
Yeah. Well, and Oracle's a perfect choice for that. So
Mm-hmm.
'cause that's what she is. She got crippled, and she was like, "Well, I guess I'm gonna be her eyes and ears now."
Oh, I didn't know that about her. Okay.
Yeah. Glaring omission. Where is Alfred?
I mean, it's never in the mansion, right? Like you're never
Yeah,
home.
I know. I just wish Alfred would call and be like, "Wayne, what would you like for dinner tonight?"
That would be kind of cool. Like
Well, I don't
little
know. Like,
comedic
yeah,
aside.
yeah, like Batman's punching a guy in the face. He's like, I don't know. I'm kind of feeling salmon. Do we have any salmon left?
Yeah.
Pah, pah.
Yeah. Like
Like mid boss fight.
giving him like shopping lists after he's done.
Yeah, yeah. He's like, I'm at the store, and I'm at the store, and they're all out of cherry Pepsi. Is regular Pepsi okay? I don't. How many times I told you, Alfred? I don't like regular Pepsi.
Yeah.
I only like the cherry Pepsi. God.
Am I a
It's like
regular
if they
man?
don't have
No.
cherry Pepsi, then yeah, my regular man, no, I'm Batman. I don't want regular Pepsi. See if they have cherry Coke. I guess I'll drink that. It's fine. It's been a real prick to him. Sorry, I just got punched by a alligator man.
Fucking up my combos.
I'm having a bad day, Alfred. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to take it out on you. It's quite all right, Master Wayne. I understand.
Yeah.
All right, so we've touched upon the gameplay a little bit, but we can go into it more. So as you said, there it is like split up between like the action combat and like the detective stuff, and they kind of weave together. So we've been praising the detective element, and I guess we'll talk about that first. Because you do get different gadgets throughout the game to help you with traversal and also help you with finding clues. Some of the gadgets include the Batarang, which obviously the an explosive gel, which not only works to like open up the environment, but also works to hurt enemies, which is cool. You know, you can use it as a weapon if you want to. Um, there's the
Which
grapple
which
hook.
which would kill people.
Yeah, but it's Batman, so it just knocks him out.
Yeah.
It just knocks him out. You know, it can knock down a stone wall, but for a person, it just knocks him.
Yeah.
You know, it blows up a wall where Batman can progress, but for a person, it just gives him a little.
Yeah, give him a stinger, as they call it. A little concussion.
The grapple hook, which is different than the his other grapple that he uses to like get around. And then a zip line tool. And is there anything else I'm forgetting? Oh, you get like a hacking thing.
Yeah. Little mini game with the two sticks.
Yeah, that's very 2009. What, is there any other gadgets?
Well, I think you got them all, but then you get like little upgrades to each one.
Yeah,
To a few of them.
There were the remote control batarang, you know.
Yeah.
The double batarang.
Yeah, now there's two.
The chocolate batarang.
Now you can use
it. You just get different variations of the batarang.
Yeah.
This batarang makes a squeaky sound when it hits the enemy.
Squeaky.
So yeah, the gadgets are cool in this game.
I was impressed that it gives you, they're so multifaceted. Like they give you the opportunity to use them both in progression through levels, but also in combat. So you can kind of make Batman fight how you want him to. Although I think towards the end you kind of just get everything, which I never liked that in a progression system, personally.
Yeah.
So it's not a perfect game. 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah. 3 out of 10.
Yeah, I think more like that.
But there are fun. There is fun to be had with the gadgets. I do really like the fact that you use the explosive gel as a weapon because for like some of the stealth segments, it helps a lot to
Oh
do
yeah.
that. Because you can put like three of them down at a time and then detonate them. So if you're like really smart and like learn the enemy patterns, like you can knock them quick with that thing.
Is your Batman, and I know they kind of put the levels, I guess I'll put it in quotes, but the fights, they kind of give them in a way where you don't really have as much of a choice. But are you more of a stealth Batman, or are you more of a brawler Batman?
When I can, it's stealth. The brawler section. There's like certain segments where you're locked into being
Yeah,
brawling.
yeah.
I prefer the stealth, to be honest, because to me that's just more Batman.
Hmm.
That's what Batman is.
Yeah.
And like I love the fact that you can like hang upside down from like the gargoyles and like hang enemies from them and
Oh
stuff. And
yeah.
you could throw a batarang and like knock an enemy out for a second, and then sneak up on them and stuff. Like there's all sorts of cool stealth things you can do in this game that like it lets you play more creatively.
Hmm.
I think, as opposed to other stealth games at this time where it's like very cut and paste.
Yeah, I definitely lean into the stealth. That's the first upgrade I always get, is the one where you can hang people from the gargoyle.
Yeah, it's a cool one. I love it too because you do it and then like everyone runs over like what the hell,
Yeah.
and then they run over and the guy's like hanging and I'm like what the, well I guess I better walk under this other gargoyle and I'm like guess what bitch.
Yeah. They walk away like, I got a lot to think about. Okay. And they're just like walking under
Ah!
gargoyle. Yeah. And then it mixes it up with it. Like later on, they get things like those rings around their necks where it'll alert if they've been knocked out. And then,
Yeah, that's, man, the
yeah,
stealth becomes very tricky at that point.
which I love. I mean, we're both
Yeah.
Metal Gear Solid fans. Like I think we both like stealth. So it's good stuff.
And and that's a good point too. Man, the parts where like the enemies have guns, like you're fucked if you get spotted.
Yeah.
Because they will gun you down and you get to watch Batman's limp body fall to the ground. Especially if you're like jumping around, trying to get out of the view,
Yeah.
they shoot you that his limp body just falls to the it reminded me of Dark Souls when you kill an enemy and like their limp body goes limp.
Yeah, yeah.
Just like which is fun because you get cool character moments there where the Joker's teasing you.
Or whoever you're fighting.
Yeah. Oh, that's true. Yeah, it's usually, yeah. Other villains do it too, but I always remember the Joker ones. He always has some pretty funny quips.
I lost to Poison Ivy quite a bit. That fight was way harder than I remember to be.
Yeah, that's a hard fight. So this, obviously we like the stealth a lot. The beat 'em up gameplay I think is very unique, especially at the time. Now, of course, maybe not because people copied it, including WB themselves.
Mm-hmm.
I do think it's very cool though, the combat system, because it also makes you feel like Batman because you're surrounded by groups of enemies in the combat. Like you're usually not fighting less than 3 people at a time. So it's you're always surrounded by a bunch of goons.
Yeah.
But you're able to like use the bat sense thing, and which I don't understand how that works, but like he's not Spider-Man. But you're able to use like that to like block enemies, about to hit you with stuff and like counterattack, or so like it makes you feel like a badass playing it.
Yeah, it's really a great system because it easily gives you all the tools to fight like a badass. And it's very context sensitive, so it's like you can react to like anybody, regardless of what they do. Like if they're gonna kick you or punch you or hit you with a bat, it'll just know what to do in a reaction sense to it. So you don't have to worry about that. You just have to worry about reacting, and then the game takes it from there. So I think it's a really cool system that makes you feel really powerful, and it leaves the opportunity for a lot of cool combos. I use a lot more combos this time than I think I did before. I don't think I even used combos very much before, but now I was really conscious of it, and I would like at like whatever 5 hits or 8 hits, whatever it was, you can start picking people up and throwing them, which will not break your combo
Oh my
string.
god, I love doing
It's
that.
so much fun. I love it. Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of cool things that it can do, and it makes you feel really powerful. Is it the deepest combat system? Probably not. But I don't think it has to be.
One of the only things that'll trip me up during the combat is the fact that you have to hold your right trigger and then push your Y button or whatever you're playing on, triangle button you're playing on PlayStation to like knock characters out.
Yeah.
That's the only thing that'll trip me up because I always forget I have to hold that trigger and do it that way. So I have to like remember every time. It's like, oh shit, how do I knock people out?
I found it, especially later in the game, to be unnecessary. Early in the game, it makes more sense because there aren't as many people. But like later in the
Oh
game,
yeah,
they throw so many people at you that it just becomes like
you
don't
might
even
as well
bother.
just fight it. Yeah, yeah, you might as well just fight it out.
Yeah.
Because you're not because like they can hit you while you're trying to do that.
Yeah.
So like you're just leaving yourself open.
hmm So yeah, I would just like ironically, I would hit somebody, and then when they fell, I would just start like edging my character over to somebody else to see if they would react to me. I feel like instead of like trying to finish somebody off, I'd be like, I hope somebody tries to hit me right now.
I hope nobody hits me.
I'm just a bat.
I'm just
Yeah.
Batman. Okay, so we're still in gameplay. What other so you mentioned you really like the Killer Croc boss. You want to talk more about that?
Yeah, what I liked about that, and just the bosses in general, is they're all very themed around they do a good job of theming themselves around the characters, so they feel like what it would be like to fight that boss. And like the Killer Croc one is terrifying. It's Croc's underwater. You have to walk slowly and not trigger anything, but he's still gonna pop out here and there, and you have to fight him off and like hit him with the batarang. And your job is to collect things like the samples, I think spore samples that are throughout the sewer, which is really like a horror trope. It's like, oh, we need this, but it's in a very scary place. Somebody's got to go do it, so then they have to go out and do it and then survive the scary stuff. Really well done. It's very tense. Whereas like a poison ivy fight is you're fighting her in a plant and she's shooting plants at you that grow, and you have, it just feels like that kind of like you're fighting against nature. Those two fights stand out as just like, wow, those feel like what it would be like to fight these characters. You can tell that they just had so much passion for the subject material.
Yeah, yeah, those are great. I mentioned earlier I really like the parts with Scarecrow. They aren't necessarily boss fights, but
But no, yeah, yeah.
the segments with Scarecrow are great. And I was reading as we were going through the reception that a lot of reviewers really like that, and they compared it to like some of the other fourth wall breaks in games like Psycho Mantis and Metal Gear, or like some of the stuff from Eternal Darkness.
Yeah.
Um, and I can see it because there's a lot of cool stuff with Scarecrow, where again he puts you in like these horror worlds and kind of makes you feel vulnerable. You fight skeletons, and then there's moments in the game where he fucks with you, and you think like somebody's dead, or or you think like I think if there's a part where like they don't really do much with it, which I appreciate because it's just there to fuck with you. But you think like you rescue the warden, and then you find like another warden behind glass, and he's like, "You saved the wrong warden," and like nothing really ever comes of it.
Yeah.
But it's just there to fuck with you. It's just gonna make you think like, "Did I save the wrong warden?" And so like I really like the stuff with Scarecrow in this game. I thought it was done really.
Yeah, well, you and I are both stealth guys, so that those are fun to try to navigate them, and it's cool that you can use your grapple hook for things in those parts, and visually they're so stunning. Like they're like
Yeah.
out of a nightmare. They're terrifying.
Not every villain is given the best fight. The Bane fight is okay, I think. And Harley's fight is just kind of lame. I'm gonna be honest. She has that like shocking floor thing,
Yeah.
and it's fine, I guess, but like they don't really do much with her. You just kind of beat her up, and
Yeah.
then lock her in a cell. So like,
Well, because it's true that she doesn't really have any powers. Like she's not really
no,
like strong or anything. I would have. I would have thought. I don't know. I guess this is theory crafting, but my brain is like it should have been like a chase sequence.
a chase sequence or like, she's working with Joker obviously closely, so like they're. I get the shocking floor thing supposed to be a trap, but like there could have been more traps, and
Yeah.
stuff to like try to kill you while you're fighting off goons and stuff. You know,
I
like
just
there's
think I think for Harley it should have been like some kind of chase sequence where you're trying to find her and so you're using your detective clues. And maybe it wouldn't have been so like exciting, but I think it would have been more than just beat a bunch of thugs and
you
before.
can't find me, Batman.
Yeah. I'm gonna find your hot ass.
Get out here, Harley.
Yeah. Dude, how many people when they're playing that and then you can like walk around like and like look at from his view or just staring at her tits the whole time? Like remember when Solid Snake did that in Metal Gear Solid 3?
Oh yeah.
You go to first person view and he's just like staring.
I mean, you had to do that in the first game, but not know what tits with Meryl's ass, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you had to look at her ass in the first game.
Yeah. It's fucking great.
So the bosses are pretty competent, but let's talk about the big.
Big.
Let's talk about Joker. I think we might be on two different pages with this fight, but we'll see. Because I don't like this fight. I think this is the worst part of the game for me. I think it's kind of dumb for the Joker fight, but I also understand the necessity for this fight from a gameplay perspective because it would be kind of anticlimactic if Batman just kind of punched regular Joker in the face. Is that so Joker takes the Titan serum and becomes Titan Joker.
Yeah.
Which is the big abomination Joker. I think this is incredibly out of character for Joker. But again, what else? How else will you end the game? I guess, right? I don't know.
Right. I mean, this is your final boss, and it's got to be the Joker. So, but you're not just gonna beat up Joker as is.
Yeah. So they were kind of trapped. They're put in a corner with this fight. I think. So.
It's the dumbest part of the game. For sure.
It's the dumbest part of the game. Yeah, this is the part of the game where if somebody said like this part of the game sucks, I would have been like, yeah. But like everything else is so good, I can forgive it.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't hate it. It's certainly dumb, but there's also like a crocodile, like a human crocodile in the game.
Yeah, but like Killer Croc's already a established character with motives and stuff, and like it fit that boss fight fits him.
Mm-hmm.
Like this boss fight doesn't really fit the Joker. One of the greatest criminal minds in comic books,
mm-hmm.
is a giant mutant boss fight.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I see your point on this one.
Yeah, it's like you think of like even at this point you think of modern interpretations of the Joker, and you think of the opening of The Dark Knight where he plans the bank heist where everybody kills each other and then he gets away, and then you look at this thing and you're like, well, it's on two very different ends of the spectrum.
You know what would have been interesting is if he did this but with like Commissioner Gordon. And he was like,
never mind. You meant he like mutated Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah. And so
I thought you were saying he fought as Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah. You fought the Joker as Commissioner Gordon. No, yeah, like he gives the Titan formula to Commissioner because you're like helping him the whole time and you're working with him. and then like he got taken away and I got to rescue him, and it's like nope, we gave him the Titan thing, and so now you have to find a way. I mean, the character will do it, but you find a way to not kill him, and the Joker's like riding on top of him or something like an animal,
That would, yeah,
and that way,
that's
that way
not a bad idea.
when you beat him, you can also have Joker get knocked out in the process, and then.
But what happens to Commissioner Gordon? Die, or does it become? Because they do use the as dumb as this boss fight is, they use this as a plot device for like the next 2 games,
Right.
with the Titan gene or whatever.
Well, didn't Batman develop a antidote?
Yeah.
So they could have reworked it a little bit where he had enough for 2, and then like hit him with it or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like to save him at the last minute. They could have figured that out. But yeah, I agree. Like the Joker is not a character that you would like is known for his combat or fighting. He's more known for his like the plots and the plans he comes up with. So it's kind of dumb that he's like a big scary monster at the end.
But whatever. I'll excuse it because the game's fucking awesome stuff.
Yeah.
It's like sure, it's okay. Sure, I'll look past. So we've kind of gone through some of our favorite moments in the game already. I actually think we've been doing a pretty good job just kind of breaking things down, talking about different aspects. So we don't really need to go over that. I don't think. Do you? Is there anything else you wanted to bring up?
No, I think we covered it.
Nice. So yeah, we can just do our final thoughts and then talk about what. Yes. So this game sucks. I'm just kidding. Obviously we've been singing this game's praises. So and if you have tuned into the mappers throughout the years, me and Spencer have been advocates for doing this game at some point. And that's why I created this entire month of comic book month, because damn it, I'm doing Arkham Asylum.
I'm glad you did.
And yeah, it holds up. I was kind of worried I would start playing it again and be like, well, this game is kind of crusty. No, it's still awesome. And there's remasters out now. That's how I played it. I'm sure that's how you played it too. There's remastered current consoles, so you can still get your hands on it. Yeah, it's still a phenomenal game. I think in terms of like comic book games, I don't think much has surpassed it. I think maybe they like if anything has come close, it's maybe those like Insomniac Spider-Man games, But it's like not much has hit this level for like comic book games. And my friend was right. You feel like Batman. That's just what this game is.
Yeah, perfect way to describe it. I think it's a must play. Batman fan or not. This is an important game in the history of gaming. It's proof that I think this game, the story of this game is that if the people making it have passion, you can feel it. And I know they like to pretend that they always do, but they don't. This is a rare example where these people really wanted to make this game and were given the opportunity to make it, and literally everybody won. And I think there's a story there. Like that's great, and it doesn't usually happen in gaming. So there's something to celebrate.
And again, this is the reason why Rocksteady is such a beloved studio, even if the reputation has taken a hit this year with that Suicide Squad game. But prior to that, like there was such a beloved studio that like, it's like anytime you heard Rocksteady in gaming news, it was always like the talk about what they're doing next or like the acclaim they have gotten.
Mm-hmm.
So, still from 2000, we'll say 2006 because of the Urban Rain game, but really from 2009 to 2024, having a reputation like that is pretty impressive in gaming. They only just now fucked it up.
Yeah,
with the Squad killed the Justice League game.
Maybe they can redeem themselves. I mean, everyone can.
I really hope they can. I'm I just want to chalk that game up to like studio interference and time crunch and all that shit.
Yeah.
Shit happens. So I really want to do that because if you scrub that game, like and I don't know about Urban Chaos, but like they have a great legacy.
Yeah.
So, so I still have faith in these developers. So hopefully they can give us more. And who knows? Maybe sometime down the road we will talk about the other Arkham games
I'm down.
because there are sequels by Rocksteady, and there's also sequels that aren't by Rocksteady. So
All
it'd
right.
be interesting to. Well, cool. Thanks for joining us, everybody. This has been a fun episode. I think we got a fun little format for this. And let us know what you thought. Next week we are doing game talk as per usual. And it's a no theme month because it's the end of the year.
Yeah.
So we'll be talking about whatever else, and we should have a guest on with us that episode. I'm still working out who that's going to be. Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you.
Oh. I don't know how to. How do we end the episode? Thanks. Thank you. Thank you for watching.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.